Lesson 10.3, Area of Quadrilaterals. Base of a parallelogram is the length of any one of its sides. The length of any one of its sides. The height is the perpendicular distance between the side whose length is the base and the opposite side. So it makes a right angle. Remember, perpendicular means it makes a right angle. Base of a trapezoid are the lengths of its parallel sides. Trapezoids do have two bases. Height of a trapezoid is the perpendicular distance between the sides whose lengths are the bases. So it connects the two bases together. Here's a parallelogram, and you can see that the height is the middle line, and the base is either the bottom or it could be the top. This could also be the base. Okay, these actually would be the same number anyhow, so it doesn't matter. So all you have to do for the formula for area of a parallelogram is take base times height. So 6 times 8, 48 meters, and you square it because it's area. For example 1, let's find the area of a parallelogram. The base of a parallelogram is 8 yards. The height is 3 times the base. So, first we can find the height by taking 3 times b. Well, 3 times 8 is 24. Then we can find base is 8, height is 24. Multiply that together to get 192 yards square. You also could have just done 8 times 3b. This would have been the same formula as base times height. And then you would have substituted base in, which is 8. And you would have seen that that's 24 times 8. So you didn't have to do 2 steps. You could have just done it all in one. Area of a trapezoid, we take 2 bases. Now it doesn't necessarily matter which one is base 1 and base 2. These little 1s and 2s just tell you that there's 2 separate bases. You want to add the bases together first. Here's the formula. Base 1 plus base 2 times a half times height. So let's plug in that formula. Parentheses first. Then we can multiply left to right. A half of 12 is 6. 6 times 4 is 24 centimeters squared. The diagram shows one of the trapezoids in a floor design. Find the area of the trapezoid. Plug in what you know into the formula. Remember, the bases are the parallel lines, and this is the height. Again, it doesn't matter which order you put the bases in, as long as you understand that there's 2 separate bases. Add in the parentheses first, and then you can multiply straight across. 16 times a half is 8. 8 times 3 is 24. For number 1 through 4, find the area of the parallelogram, which is base times height, or the trapezoid, a half times base 1 plus base 2 times the height. Pause the video, try 1, 2, 3, and 4. Number 1, you're just taking 16 times 3, which is 48. Number 2 is 8 times 12, still parallelogram, which is 96 meters squared. Number 3, you add bases, multiply by a half, and multiply by 3. 12 times a half times 3 is 18 centimeters squared. The bases here are 9 and 18. Add them together. Multiply by a half, multiply by 16, you get 216 inches squared. Now sometimes I'm going to give you the area and you have to find an unknown length. So in this case, the height is 8 feet, one of the bases is 12, and the area is 108. You need to find like the second base. So let's plug that into our formula, knowing that area is 108. The first thing I would do here is I would actually multiply the 8 with the 1/2. Just get rid of those two, since we don't know what's inside the parentheses. And 8 times 1/2 is 4. Now we're going to have to do the distributive property. So 4 times 12 and 4 times b. Now it's a two-step problem. Subtract the constant and divide by the coefficient. So the other base is 15 feet. At this step right here, you could actually do, instead of doing distributive property, you could actually divide by 4, and you'd end up simplifying the problem on each side. So you get 27 equals, then you'd have 12 plus b, and how do you get rid of 12 that's being added? Subtract. You can see that 27 minus 12 is 15, so it is the same thing. So you kind of skip the distributive property then if you get rid of the multiplying by 4 first. This is the end of the lesson.